afternoon, everybody. Here's a look at your headlines on this Thursday afternoon. A former Veterans Affairs Commissioner suing Governor Ivey. Find out why. Plus, a Mobile police officer injured during an arrest. Plus, a former Bayou La Batre officer back in jail. That and more on News 5 Now.
Brought to you by Green & Phillips, covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. News 5 Now starts right now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to News 5 Now. I'm Devin Walsh. Glad to be with you on this Thursday afternoon. Hope all of you are doing well and you're dodging all the showers out there. Tell you what, we were out this morning working on a story, a special project. Really cool story, and I'll be telling you about it in a couple of weeks. But we were in the woods at Cottage Hill Park. Okay, so you're not going to guess what we were doing, but the point is we're shooting this, like what we call a stand-up, which is the part where you see me. We're shooting the stand-up, and my photographer, Arnell, is amazing, and he wanted to get all these different angles, and it was taking a minute, but it was fine, it was fine. Finally, we wrap up. He's like, that's a wrap. We are walking back to the car. 30 seconds later, the sky falls. I mean, the rain started pouring, and we missed those storms by 30 seconds. So, boy, did we have good timing, because we had gone I'd changed clothes. I had to change out of my anchoring dress into something more casual. And we had gone all the way out there, and we were actually reshooting it because we had shot it a couple of weeks ago, but we didn't like the way it looked, so we were trying to do it again. Anyway, that's a long story to say. You just never know with these, with our forecast when it's going to rain, and so keep that umbrella handy because you know you're going to need it. All right, everybody, there's my tangent. Let's go ahead and get to our big stories at this hour. Number 5, New Orleans police officials are preparing to offer a deal to the last 2 escaped inmates in last month's prison escape. They say if Antoine Massey and Derek Groves turn themselves in, they will be offered public defenders. Experts believe this is done in an attempt to get both men to surrender peacefully. They were a part of the 10 inmates who escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail back on May 16th. Number 4, former Alabama Department of Veterans Affairs Commissioner Kent Davis is suing Governor Ivey over what he says is wrongful termination. Davis filed a lawsuit in federal court this week. He says Ivey had no right to attempt to remove him from his position. Ivey asked Davis to resign over what she alleged was mishandling funds from the American Rescue Plan Act program, which prioritizes mental health. Davis resigned in September, but he rescinded it before Ivey dismissed him. Number 3, a Tuscaloosa woman has dropped a lawsuit against a trucking company and driver involved in a deadly crash last month in Thomasville. Nancy Calvert of Tuscaloosa had filed suit against trucking company U.S. Transportation and driver Andre DeMerico over the crash that killed 2 and injured Calvert and 3 others. DeMerico is still awaiting trial on manslaughter charges. Number 2, bond revoked today for a former police officer charged with rape and sex abuse. B.J. Squires was arrested Monday while out on bond. The former Bayou La Batre officer wasn't supposed to leave the state, but investigators say he went to a baseball game in Biloxi. And number 1, a police officer injured while trying to arrest a man with a machete. Police say the man climbed on the roof of the Murphy USA gas station on Highway 90 in Tillman's Corner last night. They say he refused orders to come down and threatened to harm the officers. Mobile Fire and Rescue got involved as well and helped officers get on the roof. That's when police say the men charged at them, injuring one of the officers. That was pretty scary. I tell you what, police detained the man, sent him to the hospital for evaluation. The officer's injuries are said to be minor. And that is a look at our big stories at this hour. Gosh, tell you what, being a police officer, you never know what they are going to encounter every single day. These men and women certainly are heroes in our community. Alrighty, time for our question of the day, where we love to hear what you think. And today we're talking about driver's tests. So our question of the day: should drivers have to take a new road test after a certain age? Should drivers have to take a new road test after a certain age? And this is always something that comes up with elderly drivers. And so let's see what you guys have to say about that. Yes. Have you ever been behind Meemaw driving on Airport Boulevard? Her blinker has been on for a quarter of a mile and she's driving 17 miles below the speed limit in the left lane. Everyone commenting, crazy, like y'all aren't going to be driving when you're old. Meemaw has been driving 50 years with no tickets. Leave her alone. Beck says yes, they should have to take a road test, especially if they can't read the road signs. Herbert says only if you make the younger generation learn hand signals, a 3-point turn, and parallel parking. They put us through it, put them through it too. Toby, I tell you what, I'm 79 and I bet I can outdrive most of you. Yes, when you drive like a turtle, it's time to turn in those keys. Ken says there are horrible drivers in every age group. Age is not an automatic indicator of driving ability. I know an individual in their 20s who's such a terrible driver, they should not be behind the wheel of a bicycle. Let's see. Julie says her husband is 92, a former truck driver, and he drives better than most on the roads. And Brenda says the whole world of drivers needs to do a refresher course every 8 years, especially if you have tickets and accidents. So a lot of conversation about this, and I'll tell you what, how to take the keys from an elderly person is really difficult. And I know that those of you who are watching me and you've had a parent go through this, it's kind of a hard thing to do and to know when it's time for them to turn in the keys. Because I know, and I know all you feel the same way, I mean, the idea of not being able to drive myself, oh, I hate that idea. Cannot stand the idea of losing my independence. That would be so hard. So that's really a hard conversation to have with anyone in your life who may be elderly. All right, time for our poll today. And this one has to do with police officers. Should police be required to carry Narcan with them? Should police be required to carry Narcan with them? Yes or no? Let's see, some comments. With the way fentanyl is these days, totally innocent people can come into contact with it. Might not be a bad idea to carry it just in case. Jason, it's a life-saving tool and sometimes people need to protect themselves. So yeah, good question, yes or no? Should police be required to carry Narcan? Why not? Why not? That's what I'm saying. All the fentanyl out there, and they do come in contact with it all the time, I'm sure. So, required or just, if I'm a police officer, I'm carrying it. But yeah, I guess you would have to get to that point where police departments would have to pay for it, and that's always the issue about paying for it, but I think it's a great idea that they have it with them, just in case they come across someone who's ODing or if they come in contact with it themselves. I don't know, but let us know what you think. Well, that's going to do it for me for News 5 Now. Thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday afternoon. I'll see you back for News 5 at 5. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. You are watching News 5 Now, brought to you by Green & Phillips.